welcome to the Loki show. What Marvel, where we're talking about the Loki series here on Work with the Movie Blog. Sarah's not here this week. That's why I'm taking the help. Poor girl has to work. I tell you, I don't know. I couldn't imagine working with people. What about you guys? No.
Oh man, we should just have that episode running the whole time.
I was muted. I was gonna say, very hard to hear you over the music.
Yeah, that's
have it the whole time, man. Let's rock it.
That's
cinematic.
Loud. Yeah. I don't know how Sarah does it.
Hello. Welcome.
How's the volume on that?
It's still loud, but I mean,
loud.
Yeah.
What about right there? How's that?
That's much better.
Okay, cool. I got it set now. I got dialed in. We just had a little engineer meeting live on air.
Yes.
Got it sorted. So next time this won't happen. We won't blow your eardrums out. Sorry about that. Sorry to the listeners if that was loud to you.
So if my chin looks really shiny for some reason.
You're fucking dude.
I got the light hitting it just that right way.
Dean's trying to destroy my eyes even more than they already are.
Yeah, man.
It's worse than my forehead. Okay, guys. So I just want to jump into this because I don't know the names like from characters in the comics and stuff like that, like the mini Fisto thing. I'm not familiar through that. So who was the guy at the end that they got to, and who was controlling?
Okay.
Because they don't even say his name, really.
I just want to say, I fucking told you so. I just want to say, everybody, I was wrong about Mephisto. I was really wrong about Mini Fisto, and I accept that.
That's why I didn't fully commit to the Kang thing, man, because I just didn't want to be hurt again, you know? The first cut is the deepest.
That was confirmed by Michael Waldron, not Michael Waldron, it's the other, Eric Martin, he's the other writer. Eric Martin confirmed it on Twitter. That is Kang the Conqueror.
Well,
that is... Well, it is a version of Kang the Conqueror.
Yes, because he says some of the other ones, or not. No, he doesn't. He says that he's been known by many names. You kind of assume that he's implying that the other ones.
That is a version of the character called Kang, who has many names and many titles. The whole deal with Kang, if people don't know, is that Kang is a character. Kang is a character in the Marvel comics that shows up a lot under different names. You kill him and he comes back and he's like, I'm actually a Mortis now, but really I'm still Kang, just going by a different name,
but from a different point in his own life.
Yes. He's an inevitable infinitude. Like Kang
he's
as
an old
a person
fuck.
Yes, Kang as a person will always try to conquer. Like, that is kind of, any version of Kang will always try to conquer, and all the versions of Kang are well equipped to conquer.
I've got to ask you though, what's the technical dictionary definition of conquer? Because is he conquering these timelines? Because he's just wiping them out. Like, he's just getting rid of the ones that don't suit his purpose. I don't know if that really counts as conquering.
That's what this guy was doing.
Yeah.
He wasn't a conqueror. He was he who remains. He was... Yeah. It's still Kang, but going by a different name and with a different purpose. Like, this is the whole thing with Kang, is that Kang exists everywhere in different versions of him that have different goals. Maybe he's trying to conquer ancient Egypt, or he's going to the 21st century to conquer. Like, it's always something different with Kang, which means I don't think this is the last time we're going to see, like...
Definitely not.
I think we're going to see Kang die again before he dies for good. Before we're done with Kang, I think we're going to see him die again. I think that's going to be a thing. I think we're going to see him pop up places and get killed, and then another version of Kang is going to come in and be like, all right, I'm here now.
Yeah, throughout
you
the
got
phase,
me to deal with.
Throughout the phases. I actually think they're going to mix the Kang storyline in with the Secret Wars storyline. Because traditionally the Secret Wars storyline is like Doom and the Beyonder and all this other stuff that hasn't been set up yet, and it's basically a war between the multiverses, and that's what we're setting up here. So I think it kind of makes sense if you're gonna have a multiverse story. It kind of is a no-brainer now that we think about it to have Kang, because all the reasons Sean said about the different versions that we see.
And he's so tied
coming
into
soon in Ant-Man
the...
Quantumania.
Well, yeah, and I mean, he's so tied into all the projects that are coming up. I mean, we know he's going to be in Ant-Man. Kang has a very important part in the first Young Avengers storyline, which we've been building up through all these shows we've been meeting. So he's really tied into that stuff. He's really tied into the Fantastic Four, and we know we're getting a movie. It's just all these plot lines that we know are coming. Kang in the comics has a really big part in them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
man. If they would have name dropped Nathaniel Richards in this episode, I would have literally.
I think that would have gone too far. I think that
I would have not have
been
in this episode. I would have died. That would have been.
I would have died as well.
That would have been pretty cool.
I guess.
But that's kind of the problem with this episode. Is it just is pretty cool, and we only know about this stuff, and are able to ascertain a lot of this stuff, because a lot of the stuff that you're saying we don't really get from the episode.
No,
like they don't even say the word Kang in this episode. Nope. And if you're not a comic book fan, you have no idea this is coming. You get no. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of divide online as well for people who love this finale and people who don't, and I think that's a big part of it. I think the comic book nerds are loving it, and I think a lot of general audiences feel like a little bit let down that they've not had, because the way the show is going, like if I'm just going in blind watching this show, I would assume that the finale of this series was like a big all-out Loki battle or something along those lines, right? And then all of a sudden we're just going to swoop in completely new character. You don't know who he is, and we're just going to talk in an office. It
was such a good conversation, though.
It's great, and there's a lot of great dialogue, and the performance, quite honestly, was geared. You could tell that they got this actor, they done this take for a reason, because they knew it was an exposition dump, and they wanted to make it as fun to watch as possible. Yeah. So they're just like, Jonathan Majors, do Morgan Freeman from Bruce Almighty on crack. Let's go.
Yeah. He was great. Here we go. I'm not going to name names. Okay. I'm not going to name names. But there was somebody on Twitter, a pretty popular content creator that I admire a lot, but there was somebody on Twitter who before, like at 5:00 yesterday, so the episode had been out for maybe 14 hours, like the workday had just ended, they tweeted that Jonathan Majors was incredible in that episode.
Yeah.
So I got it spoiled for me because I was sitting down to watch it. I had Loki muted. Was it Coy? Was it? Did he do it as well?
Oh no, I don't know. I was just trying to figure out who it was. Who was it?
No, I'm not gonna. I don't want to, because I really respect them. And I don't want to be like, you're an asshole. I fucking hate you. But it's a host. It's one of those host personalities. But
yeah.
They tweeted out Jonathan Majors was incredible in this episode. And I'm like, that's a fucking spoiler. Like, because we know he's cast as Kang. Like, maybe to the people that don't know that he's cast as Kang, that's not a spoiler. Yeah. But, like, they announced Jonathan Majors playing Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So, like, am I crazy to think that it's a spoiler?
No, it's pretty spoilery.
Yeah.
Although I
know who it was. I know.
Let's not do it.
Let's not do it. Dude, no, I'm gonna do it. It was Josh the Merc Rayner, the guy who
It was Josh.
For his own dude talking about it. Man, it was Josh. Wow.
It was. I hate to say it, but it was.
Sorry, I figured it out, man.
To bounce off your point though, Sean, is that a lot of general audiences watching this show, they don't know that anyone's been cast to play any other characters. They just know who's in the show that they're watching.
Yeah.
And
so for the general audience, sure.
And
but when you're the host of like geek-related content,
well, of course, yeah.
And
obviously it sets up that so much exciting stuff, with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. And again, a lot of people don't know really anything about those movies other than there's probably going to be another Spider-Man and another Doctor Strange movie at some point. So I don't think a lot of people really are they don't understand the ramifications of this grand finale, which is okay.
I watched the episode with my mom, and at the end she was like, "That was it." And I was like, you don't understand how crazy that was. You don't understand, because really, and I think this was a huge risk from Marvel. I described this show to my friend who hasn't watched it yet. I was like, you have to watch it. First of all, you can't, like, WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, I suggest you watch them because I enjoyed them. But when they show up in the movies, you'll be able to pretty much understand what happened. You know, it'll be, this was like the prologue to the next stage of the Marvel Universe. This is part of the book, right? It's not chapter 1 yet, but it's the prologue of the book. And it is essential that you watch this to understand. I mean, I'm sure they'll do their best to catch people up, but I really think that if you don't watch this show, you're not going to get the full extent of what we're going into.
But they say, Tom, if you haven't read the comics, you're not going to get the full extent of this show. So,
well, I think, to be fair though, every time Thanos shows up in Phase 1 or Phase 2, it's like, who the fuck's this guy?
But I think that's a bit different because I think it's just basically pretty obvious that he's a big, strong alien dude who has a mission of some kind, and he's going to come fight some shit. This is a bit more like ethereal of a concept to kind of put forward in that kind of cliffhangery kind of way. And speaking of cliffhangers, I was so excited for the mid-credit scene of this episode that I'd heard about. Mid-credit scene that sets up something big for the future of the MCU, and technically that's what I read, and technically that is correct. However, the end credit scene is just the announcement, or the mid-credit scene is just the announcement of season 2, which, considering how important season 2 is going to be to what goes on in this, really should have just been at the end of the episode. And the other mid-credit scene should have been at the end of the episode, because a lot of people missed that one as well. And you can't just have 2 random episodes with mid-credit scenes that are really important to the plot or to the future and not just put it in the episode. It's 30 seconds. Fucking hell.
I thought you were saying there were 2 post-credit scenes at the end.
No, this is what I'm saying.
Okay,
that was the post-credit scene. Pull it at the end of when it cuts, when Loki realizes that he's in an altered dimension, Planet of the Apes style. It should have just cut to Loki will return in season 2 and then credits. They're just trying to find places to have end credits things.
Question though. Like, and we all love movies and film, not just, Marvel and stuff. Like, we have a wide variety of things that we like. We just love movies and film storytelling. Did we really need to be told at all that there was going to be season 2? Couldn't we just obviously, the end of the episode was so clear that there was going to be more?
Here's my argument for all of this.
Hang
on. Here's my argument for all of this, Dean, because I think you're off track, first of all. I think you're off track because I think they stylized it more, but they've been doing this for a long time. Thanos will return in Endgame, or in Avengers 4. Ant-Man if you watch the credits of Marvel movies, at the very end, it says blank. A lot of the time it'll say blank will return in some other movie that they're going to be in.
But it will be at the end of the movie before the credits, or at the end of the
end of the credits.
Or at the end of the mid-credit scene.
I think, isn't it always at the very end usually?
Because nobody's waiting around for that. I'm sure it's like before the black screen credits, right after the mid-credit scene. But only do that if there's an actual mid-credit scene. Don't make the announcement with your fancy graphic and try and tell me that's a mid-credit scene.
I don't think it's a
mid-credit scene whatsoever.
No, I think whoever called it a mid-credit scene is wrong. I would argue that the episode just didn't have any post-credit scenes.
Yeah, I agree with Sean. Whoever originally said that was a mid-credit scene and it initially got that spread out there should be dragged outside where
I agree.
Beaten with sticks like a freaking piñata until their guts
I agree.
I'm gonna blast the outlet that posted this article title. It was Josh from the movie Merc Rainer.
Was it?
I can't even finish it. I'm sorry.
Josh, we're coming after you, man.
No,
You better watch out.
I saw a bunch of outlets and article headlines refer to it as a mid-credits scene.
I'm against it. Anybody that did that, you should be fired. You should be fired from your jobs. That is inaccurate
because I
reporting.
skipped forwards like through the little bit of the credits, right, to get to the mid-credits scene.
Did you miss it? Did you miss
I pressed play. I saw Loki will return in season 2. So I thought, oh, I must have just missed the mid-credits scene. Right. And then I'm going back and it wasn't there.
There's no mid-credits scene. There isn't one.
I'm fast forwarding, I'm rewinding. Before you know it, I'm watching Sound Guys in Japanese and I just don't know what's going on anymore.
I mean, I guess at some point we should talk about the actual episode, but I do want to say.
Oh, there was an episode.
There was an episode, but I do want to say, Dean, you were listing out what this show was important for. Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, all this stuff. Everybody's leaving it out because everybody's assuming that it's a one-off thing and that it's not going to matter. But you're all wrong. I'm putting down the claim now. What If is canon? What we saw there at the end with all the branches splitting off, that's What If.
Those episodes are in there. Those timelines are in those timelines. Yeah.
People are leaving
whether or not we'll see them outside of their respective What If episodes, I don't know if we will. Although if we do eventually get like a Secret Wars and there's like a big like montage of all these heroes from all these different universes, they could very well pepper in some of the popular What If characters, which would be really cool. But by then, we've got Tobey Maguire Spider-Man running around, so I'm not going to get excited about, British Peggy Captain America. Sorry.
I will. I fucking love Haley Atwell.
I lived it. It's not as exciting.
I just want to...
We're the same, me and Haley Atwell. We are... she's a Dean Lewis variant, actually.
Man. It's unfortunate for you.
What?
I will say, it's not like confirmed that What If is canon, but I think it's a pretty good bet that it is. I mean, we've all been kind of like Star Wars Visions. That's not canon. They've said not canon. It is a bunch of vignettes that are not canon.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great thing about it, though. Is they don't have to say it's canon, and then if anything really pops off, then they can just be like, "Yeah, we're gonna like somebody's. Oh, now that character's in Doctor Strange 4, and he's going to team up with, medieval Iron Man or something. Let's go."
Man, Dean's making predictions. He said Doctor Strange 4. He said, forget 3. We're doing 4 of these movies.
Man, 1 was way more than enough.
Oh,
hey,
let's
man,
not
Multiverse
do
of
it.
Madness, dude. Multiverse of Madness. Come on, man.
I am so
Elizabeth
excited
Olsen.
for that.
Doctor Strange is such a boring fucking movie. And I can't stand it. I can't stand the character.
That character to Sam Raimi, and let's go.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting. Okay,
go.
I do want to talk about the episode because I see a lot of people really going. I gotta stand up for my girl Sylvie, because I see a lot of people that are comparing this to when Quill punched Thanos. They were like, "Why would she kill him? That's so stupid. It's wrong to kill him." It's like he's a dictator. What do you mean? He's like, look. Both choices are bad.
But we know in real life that there are people that are dictators, and we don't just go out and kill them because
we shouldn't
it's more complicated. I'm anti-establishment more than anyone in this planet. I'm telling you, I hate the government. I hate everyone. I hate you. And
I'm just saying that guy was admitting to genocide in front of them. Like that's fucking reason enough to kill him. He might have been the best Kang, but that doesn't mean that he's still good.
He's still, it's still self-serving to a degree, but also he's also right. And I was like, Loki even like, it's so stupid. You know what oh man.
Oh no.
If it was his plan to get them there to take over the TVA, then why did he bring fucking Sylvie into it? Because she's the one, she's anti-establishment, just like me. She fucking hates everyone. She hates everything. If he would have just brought on regular Loki and just dropped him into this conversation after like episode 2, he probably would have just been like, yeah, I'll take over. That sounds great. But because he's got all this baggage now with Sylvie, and then she's got her agenda of trying to kill everyone, like, you know, it just, his plan kind of fell apart. Just get one Loki, the Loki that we know. And just,
I don't think he had a plan. I don't think that's
well,
how
he
it
said he
worked.
had a plan up until that one point in the episode, but the plan was to get both of them there to hand the TVA over to them.
I don't think that's how he saw it. I don't think he saw it as I need to get them there. I think he saw it as they will come here. And that I have seen time up until this point. I know what will happen. It's not that I'm trying to actively, this is what I want. It's that I know that this happens, so this is what will happen. Which is the problem.
I thought it was a total Willy Wonka situation, man.
Yeah, no, I read it more as like, this is what's going to happen, and it's going to happen, and nothing that I can do is going to change it because I need to follow the script because this is what it says I'm going to do. So I need to do what it says I'm going to do because that's what happens.
And who's writing the script?
That's an interesting point because we see Miss Minutes is still up to stuff. She's not telling. She was working for He Who Remains this whole time and wasn't telling Renslayer or any of these other people. And I'm seeing a lot of chat online that we're getting the vibe that Miss Minutes might be working for a higher person, maybe even another Kang who's got an even grander plan over this one, which would totally make sense.
You mentioned Judge Renslayer, so I want to bring this up really quickly. Again, Eric Martin, one of the writers on the show, confirmed that because I was actually thinking about this when this episode ended. I was like, we're done. That's it for Renslayer and Mobius? And he confirmed they had planned more for Renslayer and Mobius. They were going to do more in the season, but COVID got in the way, and they weren't able to do more.
You telling me?
Yes.
I was speculating about the whiskey glass on the thing, like, oh, there's a loop of Mobius, and the whole thing was just to pay off for her to just look at it and then not to give a shit about him anyway. Like,
but where's she going?
Where is she going? And to your point earlier, Jay, if they didn't have this overt announcement of there will be a season 2, I would have been pissed because they left so much stuff. There's like 3 major character arcs that are just not reconciled in this episode. You know, Mobius, Renslayer, and Sylvie. And I get like a cliffhanger, but you need to wrap up one arc before you leave a cliffhanger for the second arc. And they don't do that. This feels like a mid-season finale of a longer show, if anything, is kind of how I feel.
Yeah, that's fair, yep.
It feels like if it would be 12 episodes and this would be a great mid-season finale.
Well, think of it that way. And then, you know,
I will, Sean, and then it's fine. I just won't review the show because every show I'll just say, oh, well, it's just a half a season. The next half of the season will be great. And there's nothing to talk about then.
Hey, man,
we'll get season 1.5.
December probably at the earliest.
Next
December at the earliest. Like December 2022.
They confirmed that they haven't shot it because there was a lot of speculation going around that they'd already shot it because there was so much footage in some of the trailers that just wasn't in this show. So some people thought maybe they'd already filmed a bunch of it, but apparently they haven't. But something tells me that, you know, maybe they got some stuff, you know, over COVID and quarantine. You know, it's just like Tom Hiddleston 8 times on a green screen. Like, it can't be that hard, you know, and then just cut to Sylvie every now and then when she wants to say something melodramatic and then pretend that she's heartless.
You got to stop bad-mouthing Sylvie, first of all, or else we're going to
have a problem. Sylvie. I know you watched the show.
You're gonna do that goddamn screen, and I'm gonna punch you, okay?
It was Sylvie who come through the screen, am I right, boys?
Now, I think the last thing that was reported was that they were looking at a January 2022 production start. That they were gonna start shooting in January of next year. Which that was before the show came out. Season 1 came out. That was reported because the season 2 Loki but the season 2 Loki report was like last year. I think it was sometime last year that it was reported that they were working on a season 2. And I think the last thing that came out, you know, some Hollywood Reporter article or somebody, Variety, one of those, was that they're going to start. You having fun, Wade? What's going on, dude? What's going on?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at myself. Like I was looking at myself and like thinking, yeah, looking good, man. You like it, little goatee.
You are looking you are looking good. If you turn your head upside down, it looks like my head, which is cool.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
Wait. I want to know. Did you like the episode?
No, yeah, absolutely, dude. I thought it was fucking dope as fuck, dude. There was nothing that I did not like about it. Yeah. I really liked the end. Yeah. Like, obviously, when he's like, Mobius is like, which one are you? Which, Loki are you? And I'm like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And then I was like, it never occurred to me that there would be other TVAs in different. It just never occurred to me. I just assumed that there was one TVA hub that controlled everything. And so I was like, oh, holy shit, it's on like Donkey Kong now, baby. Yeah.
I mean, there would have been before.
Wait, I
Who, me?
In my head.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm echoing right now.
Yeah,
I think we all are.
I don't know.
I think we're okay again. No.
Yeah, it stopped when you muted yourself.
Welcome. No, I'm still in my head. I need to not be in my own head.
Yeah, it's still going.
It's still going.
Welcome to the Engineering 101 podcast, everybody.
To keep the show rolling, wait, it's you. Yeah. To keep the show rolling, I think that ending was awesome. The ending with finally we got to see, because the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, he looks close enough to Kang, right? He's kind of wearing like this weird purple robe thing, and it's not quite Kang, but it's Immortus, Dean says. I'm gonna try to hang on. I'm gonna try to see how we're doing here. And you were muted. You muted yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna go like this.
Okay, I'm good now. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Happy days.
But I do think that I'm so all over the place right now. I'm so sorry. The Immortus costume was great. It kind of looked like the Kang costume. You're no longer echoing, Wade. But when
if you see Immortus in the comics, it's just like these green and purple robes. It looked with like the medallion, I mean, minus the silly hat that he has, it's pretty spot on for that version.
When we got into that final scene though, and Loki looks up, that statue, that guy, that's the Kang costume. What he's wearing, that is the Kang costume.
So now Loki is in the timeline that has the real baddie.
Kang
a real baddie, I guess. Because
one of the Kang the Conquerors.
Yeah, because in Loki just happens to wind up in one of the versions of the multiverse where Kang just runs the TVA like out and open kind of thing. There's probably going to be other universes where Kang doesn't even bother with the TVA and he's just like raining destruction and conquering in the classic sense. So, I think we'll see. We'll see all different kinds.
I will say, I'm not sure it's a different TVA. I think the way it would work is that once He Who Remains is dead, that means that he's no longer pruning timelines and stopping other Kangs from rising up. Then another Kang could come to an earlier point in the timeline and take over the TVA and rewrite it. So I do think there is one TVA that handles the entire multiverse. I just think that now that He Who Remains is gone, another Kang was able to essentially go to the beginning of the TVA, take it over, and rewrite, so that when Loki comes back, the TVA has been essentially changed. I don't quite think it's a different organization entirely. It could be, but when you're messing with time travel, things are really complicated.
And for the brief glimpse that we see of this new and improved TVA, it does look new and improved. It looks brighter. It looks shinier. Mobius looks healthy. You know, everyone seems to be working nicely, and they've only got one manager now, so you're cutting out on all that upper management cost. So, you know, that's only one Christmas dinner you got to buy every year, instead of 3. So they've really trimmed the fat over there at the TVA, and who knows, this might be a better version of Kang than, you know, the one that we see in the show. We only have his word to say that he's like the best one, right? He's the one.
That's fair, yeah.
You know, any of them could think that they were the best or the worst one. I mean, I don't know what kind of low self-esteem Kang thinks that they're the worst Kang, but, you know, it's got to be one of them. That should be a sitcom, The Worst Kang.
Too many Kangs.
Mouthful of Kangs.
There was something specific that happened in this episode that I was trying to keep a mental note of, but I just can't seem to pull it.
I thought the sword fight was great between Loki and Sylvie.
It was cool, but I just couldn't get away from the feeling of like it just felt like so perfectly timed. Like, we need to interject with something in like 2 or 3 points in the episode. They do it, and it just felt like so like paint by numbers. Like, okay, we need to have some action now. It didn't really feel necessary. They kind of moved past that point. It would have been cooler to me if they literally had like a couple's argument, because that would have shown like that they'd both open themselves up to that point, and they weren't just covering up with swords and magic anymore, and they just actually got real with each other. But then it would have just been no action in this whole episode.
I don't know if people would have liked that, but
I think it would have been better.
Fight.
I
think it might have been
still want to see that Pornhub version action. I want to see that.
Now there's a division between them.
Yeah, and she could, you know.
It could be either rough taboo or rough masturbation, depending on.
So here's the thing, then: if Sylvie is now, you know, at the TVA with presumably the ability to, you know, the Citadel with the ability to command and oversee everything, then how is Kang now running the TVA? Would it not be a Sylvie statue? So something must happen to Sylvie.
Yeah, I don't think Sylvie's in a good spot right now.
Do you think like that's the place that you think all the Kangs go there first to find out what happened before they all go back and start doing their other stuff?
Maybe
so she's just going to be.
And Sylvie's standing there, the first 10 Kangs walk in. They're like,
that's got to be like an opening scene, you know, like the opening scene to Infinity War, where it's just straight up Thanos is there on the ship wrecking shit. We're just going to open, and it's just going to be Sylvie getting, you know, beat upon by like 2,000 Kangs. You know, all coming out of portals and shit.
Hell yeah.
It's the opposite of the Endgame scene.
Now that just to say what Dean just described, that would be found under gangbang.
I very intentionally did not use that word, Jay.
I'd like to say that would be the opposite of the Endgame scene. You know, where all the heroes came out of the portals, but
yes, exactly like that. Poor Sylvie, she's in for a rough ride. How's that, Jay? You like that one? What, you do something with that?
I didn't. I want to make it very clear. I did not like that one. I am against it. In fact,
you know.
This episode was just awesome. I was kind of I don't know. I guess I shouldn't have been shocked, but they did fool me this entire season with Loki and Lady Loki's relationship. As far as, are they going to trust each other? Are they? Because they're, I mean, at the very end, like, I was like, dude, he finally did it. Like, he got. Oh, never mind.
Wade is so invested in this romance,
man.
Dude, there's a great debate to be had here if the right people would step up.
Yeah. But it's an ethical one, Jay. It's an ethical one, and it's not necessarily as fun as you want it to be.
People are having the debate on Twitter, Wade.
Look, you can't. Some people just take it too hard, okay? You can't say things like that.
Well,
people are upset on Twitter.
I
really
just heard you say
hard from behind, getting slammed over a Citadel.
Although I know you were saying can't, but it was your accent made it sound like I'm not on my network, so that word I'm not going to say here. Sorry, Sean, please.
I was saying people are upset on Twitter about the Loki Sylvie thing.
Why? I mean,
Because
like, what are they saying? What's their issue?
They're like it's self-cessed and it's bad.
No, well, let's
They're
not
like-
let's not do
yeah.
that. But
It's
here's
like-
a slight nitpick
Yeah.
though, because
Yeah.
they set up in the show that you can't, if you go to the end of time, right? You can't create branches from there. But obviously, Kang getting stabbed there creates millions of branches all the way back to and from to the end of time to the beginning of time. So I think that's a little bit weird. And also, if he can do that, like, surely when Loki and Loki start making out, surely that must have messed some shit up as well, because we saw what happened when they nearly kissed before. So maybe here's a prediction for season 2. At some point in season 2, we're going to see a variant that's their kid from an alternate timeline that they could have had. You know, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and then the softcore version of the conception will be on Skinamax.
What if?
I think we'll see their child or potential child at some point in season 2. I think that'll be a thing. There'll be a universe where they're like just married with kids and stuff.
What if it wasn't the kiss that triggered the Nexus event? What if it was the fact that they were about to die? Because if
and that would have messed this whole thing up.
If they don't make it to the end of time, that messes everything up.
Yeah, and he could just twist that information to make it look that way else, you know, so it makes sense.
Because I feel like that makes more sense than them saying that them kissing is going to cause a Nexus event. Like, what is that really going to change? You know?
Yeah.
But if they die and they never make it to Kang at the end.
Let's be real. All that kiss was doesn't matter who it was one person kissing themselves in the mirror. That's all it was. That's all.
Pretty, you know, nothing. Here's my stance on Sylvie and Loki for everybody that's wondering. Nothing makes more sense than the immortal narcissist falling in love with himself. Like that. It's like nobody else works. It makes sense that Loki
most other characters, this would be weirder.
Yeah, you could not do this, I think, with any other character and have people buy into it. I think
so
Loki
if it's like just like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, just having a 10-minute butt fuck scene with himself.
I don't think you could make people buy that. Wade's like, I'd love that Doctor Strange movie.
Then he does the money shot all over his own face. Then he rewinds time and then does it again.
Doctor Stranger.
Doctor Strangelove. Am I right?
Well, that's different. I don't know. I've never been a fan of the numb stranger, because my thing is like, okay, let's just be real. You've got a nice steady, but then if you go the other way, it's just all over. I can't do it. I've never been a fan of the numb strangers. So
yeah, I prefer my strangers to be able to feel every last detail. Moving on. Can I go to the universe where this conversation didn't happen?
Was I lying? Was I lying? When you switch it up, when your other hand is not difficult.
Listen, for all the listeners,
we know
and viewers,
that this is going into What If. We know I'm gonna start fucking muting people.
Yeah.
We know.
What if you sat on the other hand?
That this is going into What If. We have a pretty good idea that this is going into No Way Home. We still don't have confirmation. Everybody's out there saying it's confirmed that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in Spider-Man. No, it's not confirmed. There's a difference between outlets confirming something and a studio confirming something. Nobody from Marvel or Sony has said Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire will be in Spider-Man No Way Home. What is confirmed is that Alfred Molina is going to be in it. And
Jamie Foxx has said that he's in it.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is also confirmed because
which basically confirms the other two Spider-Men.
I don't know that it does.
If they have villains from both of those franchises in this movie and they don't have both of the respective Spider-Mans,
well,
I'm walking out that theater.
I'm
walking out of my own living room when I watch it on Disney Plus or wherever the fuck it's on.
Why can't the villains come here in this movie, and then the next one is the other one's coming to help.
I'm just saying
Why
that
do they have to come at the same time?
I'm really
because
I really
that's
want to
called
see
polite
That's lazy.
love-making etiquette.
I just want to say, I want to see Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man more than anybody. Okay, Tobey Maguire. I've seen 3 Tobey Maguire movies. I'm good. I don't need to see him back again. I like Tobey Maguire. But Andrew Garfield never really got a fair shake to be Spider-Man with a good writer and director. So I want more than anything to get Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man again.
I would
All
be
I'm saying,
less pissed if it was that way around. If we get Toby but no Garfield,
I'm gonna be so
pissed.
upset. I'm gonna be so fucking
But
mad.
I
If it's
would
Toby,
be okay
but no
for the reasons
Garfield.
that you just said to maybe. But even then, that would. I think we're in the minority on that. I think most people then would be pissed that they get Garfield and no Maguire, because the Maguire fandom has really come, like, it's like the Phantom Menace now, where like everyone that grew up watching those movies is now an adult and is able to fight their case on online and stuff. And
he's such an asshole, though. Tobey Maguire, he's such a fucking asshole.
I've heard some really not nice stuff about Maguire, but that just proves how good of an actor he is, Jay. Love him.
He's one of those guys where it's like, okay, like, you look at if you hear like a Brad Pitt or a George Clooney is an asshole, it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. You know, pretty boy, super uber famous.
Yeah.
You got this nerdy, awkward fuck.
Oh he's got that Napoleon complex.
Like, oh my god.
High level of assholeness.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, how the hell does that work? Like, how does he think that he being down on this fucking low ass level can be as much of a dick as he is and
he was Spider-Man, dude.
I don't understand.
He was Spider-Man.
He's got that thing where you're like a rich, awkward, nerdy kid, and then all of a sudden you're like the most famous dude on the planet, and you can do whatever the fuck you want, and the power just corrupts. He's the evil Leonardo DiCaprio. That's how I see it. He's like the evil version of Leonardo DiCaprio.
The evil Leonardo DiCaprio. I think Leonardo DiCaprio's got enough issues on himself.
Yeah, I could say some stuff about Leo as well, but this isn't that show.
But my point originally was that everybody's like, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in this fucking movie, and it is not. So everybody that's like, hey, because you know what's gonna happen is that if people go and see that fucking movie and they're not in it, people online are gonna go, they promised us Toby and Andrew and they didn't deliver. They didn't fucking promise you shit. In fact, Andrew Garfield has been saying for the past couple months that he's not in it.
Yeah, but that's just like, where does this end now? Because every actor that's in a movie that gets asked say they're not in it, I'm definitely not in it. I swear on my grandmother's grave, I'm not in this movie, and then all of a sudden, Paul Rudd is Ant-Man.
I'm not saying that it means I'm not saying that concretely means that he's not in the movie. What I'm saying is that if it turns out that he's not in the movie, nobody can fucking say that they lied to us and told us that they were going to be in the movie when they weren't. Like, because they have been saying, absolutely, Andrew Garfield has said he's not in the movie. They've said fucking nothing about Tobey Maguire. They have not once said Tobey Maguire will be in this movie.
It's too much of a double bluff game with the casting announcements and stuff. They need to just either get all the actors in every movie on the same page, and then they need to make an official press release and just announce straight up who's in every movie ever from this point on, which I don't see happening, and that's not going to be any fun. Because if they say I'm not in the movie, it could mean they're in the movie. It could also mean they're not in the movie. If they say, yeah, sure, I'm in the movie, it could mean they're in the movie. It could also mean they just don't care because they're not in the movie, and they'll just say whatever the fuck they want. So
I think that it should just be, if they say they're not in the movie and then they're not in the movie, then you don't fucking harass them for not being in the movie.
Yeah, but how many times have people said they're not in the movie and they are in the movie? So we have.
And if they're in, but that doesn't mean that like now anytime somebody says that they're not in the movie, we have to just assume that they're in the movie.
No, like, but it means there's cause for reasonable doubt.
I'm not saying that people are out of their minds for theorizing that they're gonna be in the movie. Yeah. I think I think they're in the movie. I think they're probably in the movie, especially
it's people getting like pissed and like having a platform to scream and tweet about it. That's the problem, knowing that they're in the movie or not.
People expecting them to be in the movie isn't the problem. It's that if after the movie comes out and people are mad if they aren't in the movie, That's a problem.
Yeah, and it's what they do with that, But
yeah, but I think we're gonna find out very soon if they're in the movie or not. I think they were waiting for this show to come out so that the multiverse thing would happen, and I think we'll get a trailer at some point, and they'll just say
we are getting a Spider-Man trailer. I feel it's coming soon. I think they're going to milk this. I know they think this. They know this debate is happening with, is it Spidey? Yeah. Is it Toby? Is it whatever? I think we're going to get a regular ass looking Tom Holland trailer, and at the very end we see him face to face. And we see a glimpse of him talking to somebody else in a Spider-Man suit, and we're not going to see a close. We're just going to get a close-up of something. We're not going to see which suit it is, and they know it's going to have the internet going mad, pulling up the screenshots, zooming in. Everyone's going to be trying to figure out which Spidey suit it is, and that's going to be the next fun game.
The real kicker is that when the movie comes out, that scene's not in it.
Well, I'm just excited that there will be, and it was officially announced. So it's definitely going to happen that there will be one new Star Wars movie every year forever. It's going to be awesome, guys. Yeah. Any final thoughts on Loki?
Oh man, 2015 was a fun year.
Yeah, that was the stupidest announcement I've ever.
Yeah.
Gonna have a new Star Wars movie every year forever. And then here we are 10 years later with 3 pieces of shit and one really fucking cool movie. So
yeah, man.
2 pieces of shit and one really amazing movie and then another cool movie.
Yeah.
What about Rogue One?
Rogue One's the amazing one. Okay, I forgot about Solo. Solo sucked. Rogue One is amazing. Force Awakens is okay, and then the other 2 prequels, I don't even acknowledge that.
But it's a different conversation. Anyway,
and the Kelvin timeline ones were really cool as well. I thought that was a really interesting way to go. But really JJ made it work.
Yeah. I think that Loki was really good. I think it's my favorite of the 3 shows so far. So excited for What If in August. Wait, Jesus Christ, are you okay? What the fuck was that? I just stepped into a fucking M. Night Shyamalan movie for a second. I was like, what?
His new movie looks good, by the way. Saw a trailer for that on TV.
But when it comes to Loki,
yes,
the show was good, I think. I'm excited for the repercussions as they play forward.
Oh, yeah?
I'm less so enamored, but I did like it. I can see how people feel underwhelmed by this, and I wasn't losing my mind over this episode like I was with the Richard E. Grant. Was that episode 4 or 5? With the alligator Loki and all that stuff. That to me felt like, the peak of what this show could get to, and the peak of where this show is going. All sounds cool, but that doesn't amount to a massively satisfying finale. It was fine, and I can't help but think this show would have been the best one out of all 3 shows to be the binge model show. I think this one really would have, it would have flown in that style, and it wouldn't have felt like,
yeah,
down at the end. But I liked it.
I'm not big on the comics, so there's a lot of stuff I didn't understand or catch, but that didn't bother me because I understood the underlying issue or what's going on, about the timeline splitting and what that's going to bring in the future. I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. I want to know right now, what will it be? But no, I really was going to say, but then that song popped in my head, so I went with it. I don't want to wait for season 2 to come out. I want it to continue next week as season 1 and just keep going.
I want it all, and I want it now.
We got so much good stuff coming, though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even the rest of this year, fucking Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man 3, Hawkeye. I'm really excited for Miss Marvel, but if you don't know anything about Miss Marvel, you wouldn't be excited. And actually, I'm not sure Miss Marvel's going to be your thing, Wade. I'm just going to tell you now.
I'm surprised you like this episode as much as you did, Jay, because it's very comic referencey, it's very talky, and yeah, I'm surprised. I thought you were going to be more on my end of the spectrum.
Well, I dug it. Good shit.
Well, get fucked, Dean.
Yeah. Sean, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Whew.
Trying to high five Wade. There we go. Boom, boom. Right there. At Sean_AFK on Twitter. Or you can also find me playing Final Fantasy XIV every waking moment of my life.
There you go. Just peek in his window if you want to see that.
Yeah.
Dean, who remains? Where can people find you?
Oh man, you can find me getting fucked, but not on Pornhub and not with myself or by myself. Just plain old getting fucked. And I'll be playing Typhoon on the PlayStation 1 because that's how I roll. I can't stream it because I don't think you can stream from a PlayStation. And if you want to follow me, go and get me on Twitter at the Dean Lewis 2099. That's 2099, just to be clear. Let's get me to that 200, motherfuckers.
Yeah. And y'all can find me on the Twitter at JWade. That's the letter J, WADE 1134. And also, if you feel like it, follow at the JCast Network. I would appreciate that. Everything's in my bio. Also, as Sean says, I like taking that approach. Just like if you're interested, you'll go there and you'll read it. If not, then cool. But until the next Marvel show, for Merc with the Movie Blog. That's it.
What if?
This was Loki. And shame Sarah wasn't here to talk about it, although I do know she did not like the episode. So, who cares anyway?
Yeah, I'm glad she wasn't here, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to create our own vacuum that only fulfills the opinions that we think, and we just filter out everything else.
Yeah.
I'm glad you understand my way of living.
But that's Kang. That's exactly Kang's plan. It's just to filter out till he only gets what he wants.
Yeah.
Poor Sarah. She's a variant. Oh, man, that sucks.
And on that, have a great, great week.